The vibe coming into this NBA season, Tim, what a segue, was a weird one for Raptors fans. On one hand,
both things are weird. It's okay.
A lot of things weird.
Yeah.
Some angst over how DeMar was handled.
Yep.
On the other, excitement for the arrival of Kawhi Leonard, arguably the most skilled player this franchise has ever had if you know basketball.
Right.
How was Kyle Lowry going to react to all this without his best amigo?
Right.
How would a rookie head coach, who's been literally all over the globe,
a few question marks surrounding the team. I understand.
Nurse.
Right.
How would nurse this situation?
Oh.
Thank you. So far, so good. Raptors picked up back-to-back wins Friday and Saturday over the Celtics and Wizards. Kawhi Leonard rested Saturday, and they won no problem. So who's impressed you the most in this 3-0 Raptors start?
Two moans. Everybody. Can I say that?
I love when you speak Spanish.
Or is that when I'm me backing out of actually answering the question?
You can answer any way you want.
I sat here before the season started and said I thought it would take a little while. I thought the Boston Celtics would be the #1 seed in the Eastern Conference, and I'm not saying they're not going to be the #1 seed in the Eastern Conference, but I was going to give the Toronto Raptors a little leeway because of all the question marks that you laid in front of us. And I might be most impressed with Nick Nurse. Now, I don't know what the buy-in will be for 82 regular season games and then the postseason, but I think this Raptors team, outside of Danny Green and Kawhi Leonard, has had their hands slapped enough by what has transpired in the past, most specifically playoff disappointments, that they're okay with however this breaks down and however many starts you get as a player on this team. The depth was evident against, basically the second half of that back-to-back after beating the Boston Celtics turned into as close to a playoff game as you can get in October in Washington without Kawhi Leonard, and the Wizards pissed because of some of the calls that were going against them and because of what seems to be a decent rivalry between Toronto and Washington. And the Raptors repelled the uprising, got the win, moved to 3-0. Kawhi has been unbelievable. I saw a poll on an outside website not related to sports saying, "Are you good with the deal now?"
At 3-0?
Yeah.
Gee, I wonder what the poll
2-0, might as well be.
Or 2-0.
Right?
Are you good with the deal? Yeah.
Guess what? That's how quick it turns in the world of sports. And Kyle Lowry has been unbelievable through 2 games. And for those who don't know, Lowry in the past has been a notoriously slow starter. Like his numbers through the same amount of games last year versus the same amount of games this year are remarkably different. And I thought it would take a while for a guy who likes to have the ball in his hand, getting used to another superstar in the lineup who is going to score 25 a game, or as we're talking right now, maybe 27 a game. I don't think it'll stay that way, and I don't think that his three-point percentage will stay at 60%.
I have faith, McAuliffe.
However,
I think he's going to stay at 60 for the year.
He has been the engine that you knew he could be and worried he wasn't going to be because his BFF is in San Antonio.
Right. Now, let's also remember they haven't lost. So everything's better when you win, right?
Of course.
Everything's better when you win.
Right. Just as we were warning Torontonians about the Toronto Maple Leafs, and then they had the last 2 games.
So obviously I'm right on that.
Right.
No, but like Lowry, they're not winning anything without Lowry, right? If Lowry doesn't buy in, if Lowry's not performing, if Lowry doesn't have chemistry with Kawhi, if Lowry's not distributing to his other guys, this is all going to fail. And the Kawhi buzz has been so great, and I understand it, but he's still the engine, is he not? Am I wrong on that? I think Kyle still is he's all the pistons, all the cylinders.
He's the straw that stirs the drink?
I think he is.
What's the wins above replacement? This is a real tough question. From Kawhi Leonard, listen, I understand Kyle Lowry is really, really good. And I'm not trying to diminish that. But Fred VanVleet is pretty good too.
Correct.
So what are the wins I think what you're talking about is at the highest level, right?
Yeah.
Like I think if Kyle Lowry left right now, Fred VanVleet could make this team
I think they're
work.
Still. I think at the minimum they're still third in the East.
But they're not winning the Eastern Conference.
I'm talking about where you want to get to, which is what everyone in that organization has acknowledged.
So I have a lot of love for Freddie VanVleet.
Love Freddie VanVleet.
But I didn't want to diminish what Kyle Lowry brought to the table.
Self-made Freddie VanVleet. No one handed him anything.
Bet on yourself.
Bet on yourself, McAuliffe. Salivation.
I did a couple times.
Yes. One day it's going to fail for me. But I think Kyle, the way he's looked, Tim, just the way he's played, because how often did he just defer to his buddy? Let's tell this like it is. How many times with DeMar on the court with Kyle down through the years did he have options and say, that's where I'm going? Right? I don't see that much. Like, I really think removing DeMar from that equation, he may still be pissed, but removing him from that equation.
Yeah, but he's a competitor. I'm good with that.
Because he's a competitor, he looks different, man. Is it me, or is he looking at way more people than he was when DeMar was his principal ride or die? Is it me?
You're also running different offense. You're pick and roll
Everything's
versus
new. Everything's new.
Yeah. And we'll
grant
settle into something eventually. Has 3-0 changed your opinion of what this team can be?
No, I'll say though, Fridays was impressive. That's a hell of a way to close that game out, right? And it's Kawhi doing it. I still think over the long haul, I think Boston has more horses. I think they'll be there when it matters most. But Friday was a hell of a step for me. I think maybe it's a little closer than I acknowledged. Maybe they're a little more similar than I thought.
So you didn't, when I said that I thought Boston would be the #1 seed in the East, I buried the lead because I also think that the Raptors will win the Eastern Conference if all stays the same. Obviously, injuries come. There are caveats to all that. But you said they had more horses. Who's got the best horses?
The best horses on the Raptors.
Right?
There's no question about it.
And in the playoffs, that matters. Like last year, I thought the Raptors might be able to flip the script and play this depth game. It didn't work.
Yeah.
Right? Like the conventional wisdom is conventional for a reason, and conventional wisdom tells you you can't you can't leave the bench that long. You have to shorten the bench in the postseason. And I wondered if the Raptors could pull that off last year. They couldn't. Right? By the way, I don't know if you saw this, and I know that you're a massive fan of power rankings, but SI released their power rankings after the first week. Do you know who leads their power rankings?
It's why I woke up this morning.
Sports Illustrated, the hashtag #ProveEm, has the Toronto Raptors #1 among their power rankings in the NBA.
Oh my God! Oh my God! This changes everything.
I was prepared to leave Toronto at #2 after pulling out the thriller against the Celtics. Then, without Kawhi, the Raptors went on the road and earned another victory on the second night of back-to-backs. They had every reason to lose.
Tim, I think you got me on that one.
People know that power rankings are made to spur on.
They're stupid. Stop with the powers and the rankings and the hey rankings. Stop.
Look them in the eye when you say that.
Stop. I don't care about your stupid power rankings.
Yeah, there it is.
I'm going to make a power rankings about people in this room.
Stop,
Do you care?
Stop looking at yourself when you're doing it.
I can't.
Why not?
It looks so good.
Okay.
Can we have a power rankings on how many times I've looked at myself during the show? Can we just make some frivolous power rankings?
We would run out of time.
Wow. Kids, remember where you were when you heard a power ranking you just forgot about.